Hi guys, and welcome back to Sunday Self-Care and Spicy Reads. This week we are going to dive straight in to this Woven Kingdom. I have just finished it probably about 20 minutes ago and I need to discuss it. If you have not read this, this is your formal warning. Pick up this series now. You need these books. You need them, trust me. So if you're considering reading this series, think this. If Actor and Persian mythology had a dark, moody love child, this would be that series. Unspeakable amounts of power yet to be discovered, a prince, a hidden queen, and a king. And both the prince and the king would literally tear down the world just to be the one that's entangled in her fate. Like, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know to convince you to read this, then honestly, I don't know what will. Let's dive into it. This week, I am starting with a cuppa. So grab your biscuits, get your cup of tea, get your snacks, settle down, and let's get into it. I am going to attempt, I say attempt because the effort level is low this week. I'm going to attempt to do my nails, but I did just order some new stuff to do my nails with next week, so I'm not sure how this is going to go. And one of them's broken. Look, oh, how awful. They're usually like square and the corner's broken off. This Woven Kingdom, if you haven't read it, this will contain 0 spoilers right now, so fear not. I will put a spoiler disclosure right before I get to that bit. If you haven't read it yet, firstly, why not? I'm joking. So this series is honestly shocked me a lot. I didn't expect to love it as much as I have. The first book is obviously quite big world building, a lot more backstory-ish, getting to actually know the characters, like the bones of them, more than it is anything drastically happening. There is still a huge big fact that you meet the love interest, then that does all happen there. To me, I so almost stopped. It's only because I have a major problem with do not finishing books. Like I hate doing it. I can't. There's very few books I will not finish to read, because I just don't like to leave them unfinished. And I am so glad that I went on to read this one, because I absolutely devoured book 2 and book 3 in less than 24 hours. I'm not kidding. I'm a full-time mother and I neglected every possible responsibility except my children. I mean housework. Don't come for me, Karen, okay? I mean to just be dramatic and say I've done nothing but sit and read these books. Like, I have ignored my friends' text messages a lot. I say text messages, they're not texts. They're on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, but I've ignored pretty much all of them all. Replied far later than I should have because I've been engrossed in these books. It kind of, it doesn't follow the same storyline at all, but it really does give me Actor vibes, like quite a lot. Be warned, book 4 is not out until the 30th of September this year, thank the Lord, so no horrible Actor unknown release date there, but it does end on a cliffhanger, book 3. It ends with unanswered questions, okay? So I don't think I can keep my mouth shut any longer, so here we go. This is your official stop watching. Pause the video, don't carry on, don't continue. If you have not read the books, all 3 of them, do not continue this video. Pause it, save it, bookmark it, come back to it after you finished it. This series, so from the beginning, I feel like because it took so long for her to meet Cameron, by the way, I've been saying her name as Elise. I could very well be wrong, but that was just how it made the most sense to me. So I've been calling her Elise. and I think it's a really beautiful way of writing the name, and I had no idea that you could write it like that. So I think because Elise takes so long to meet Cameron, obviously we know Elise is a long lost queen, yeah? She's a queen because of the ice in her blood. And she's hiding out as a Snowdart, as a maid, as a house cleaner, and she's trying to double up as a seamstress, yeah, for Miss Huda. Well, we know all this, and she meets Cameron, who's hard-headed, very, very stoic, very, oh my god, strong, silent, brooding type. But he's also, I feel like it's not, he's viewed with rose-tinted glasses in the first book. Listen, I fell for him hard too. This is Tamlin all over again. Tamlin 2.0. This is what's happening. It's okay, we've all been there, unless you're on Team Cameron. Are you on Team Cameron? I'm firmly sitting on Team Cyrus over here. This is just Twilight all over again, isn't it? And if you're on Team Cameron, I get it, but I also don't. Maybe I read too many dark romance books, because Morally Grey is my favourite. It took so long to meet him that I almost got so bored I didn't finish the book, which, tragic. How tragic would that have been? We skip straight to the bit that piques my interest so much, that I think opens up the debate for this series, is going to be obviously the riddle in Elise's book of Araya. The riddle is: melt the ice in salt, braid the thrones at sea. In this woven kingdom, clay and fire shall be. Okay, so let's start with the first line of the riddle. Melt the ice in salt. I think that is referring to Cameron. He's very icy and he's very non-emotional, and he doesn't shed a single tear when his grandfather's brutally murdered in front of him. Like, there's none of that. He says it himself, like he makes a comment about how he should be worried about the fact that he hasn't shed a single tear, but he is proud of himself that he's in control of his emotions enough to not be able to cry. Okay, so we know that. So I think that that line of the prophecy, whatever you want to call it, the riddle, is that Cameron's icy heart is going to melt, and I think salt is in tears. Your tears are salty. I could be wrong there, but I also could be on something. What do you think on that one? Then the second line is braid the thrones at sea. Obviously, we know that Hazan instantly, and Cameron thereafter, assumed that this meant obviously about Tulan, that place where Cyrus is obviously king of. That's obviously in regards to there. So braid the thrones at sea. So to braid the thrones at sea would obviously, your first thought is obviously marriage, especially because Cyrus has obviously essentially demanded that Elise marry him. Although she low-key kind of wants to now. And I don't think it's just for the throne. But that is where my brain went to straight away with that. So braid the thrones at sea would be that. Now you could go on to sort of expand it and say that by braiding the thrones, it would be that Elise obviously marries Cyrus, does exactly what they agreed upon first when he first brought her to Toulon, and said, okay, well, we'll get married and then you'll kill me afterwards. And then what we find out from Cameron is obviously that his dream plan, his dream goals, is that she will obviously marry Cyrus, and then she'll kill Cyrus, and Cameron and Elise will braid together. They'll marry, and they will then by effect blend the two thrones together at sea. Do you see? So that obviously then would solve Cameron's problem with them needing access to fresh water, because his kingdom is about to, I think he's got 2 years left until they're just going to have to start like rationing the water out. It would also, they've been trying to get to London for so long, so do you see where I'm going with that? That's where my brain goes with that one. In this woven kingdom, clay and fire shall be. I think that it was presumed when Hazan first found that little prophecy, that they all assumed that would be Elise and Cameron, obviously, because the jinn are made of fire. They've obviously forged in fire, and clay obviously refers to humans, yeah? what if it actually refers to her and Cyrus? So Cameron's like got it in his skull that they're destined to be together. Now I can see where he would get that, but I kind of feel like the author stopped writing him in like a rose tinted hue, and it's almost like she wants us to see him in the kind of light that we started to see Tamlin in. So obviously in the first book we know that him wanting to protect her and like keep her out of harm's way and all that sort of thing was obviously, it was shown in like a, oh, this is so loving kind of gesture, like, oh, he loves her, he wants to protect her. And it wasn't until book 2 of ACOTAR that we then realised actually he's being quite oppressive and very, very possessive of her. And do you know what I mean? I feel like that's exactly what happened with this series. So in book 1, he was, you're like, oh my god, a swoon, he's going to marry her. Like, he doesn't even know who she is, he knows nothing of her heritage, and he's willing to, yeah, let's just get married. They had like a cheeky little kiss. It almost went into more and she obviously stopped it. And he's like, yes, I'm ready to literally crawl at your feet for you. Like, I will worship you hands and knees. And then it progressed obviously into the 3rd book. And by the time it got to the 3rd book, it was kind of like he just wanted her. He saw her as an object to sort of have, not to actually, not the way that Cyrus views her. I don't want to compare the two, but I'm gonna. Cyrus sees her as an equal, or more often than not, he actually sees her as above himself. He puts himself so low, which again, is that not giving Rhys vibes? Rhys was literally goals, and he saw her as like a complete and utter deity, a goddess above him. Cyrus is giving the same vibes. He's giving tortured prince, except he's the king. And I'm here for it. I really am. Also, there's no way, absolutely no way, that all the hints that were dropped, that Hazan and Cyrus are not brothers. I'm not convinced. I don't know how it would work. Maybe some sort of like mind wiping sort of thing. I feel like that would be a bit far-fetched, but I'm not convinced that Hazan isn't his full brother, like the eldest brother. But I feel like it would make more sense if he is like an illegitimate brother. So it doesn't make sense because I've not had enough hints dropped, but I know that they're related. I know they are. Like, when Cyrus obviously knows more than what he's letting on. When they had that conversation right before Elise woke up in the diviner's quarters, didn't she? So they have a chat and he's like, that's my Noster. How did you get it to give it to Elise? And he's like, it was a gift from my mother. And he's like, yeah, your mum worked as a courtier, didn't she? And he's like, what do you know about my mum? And then there's like a little standoff between the two of them, and they say some sly words that were very ominous as to the fact that there's some history between them, or at least some connection between them. And it's registered quite a lot how their hair is the exact same. So I think that they are brothers. I don't know if in some tragic twist of fate, because Cyrus was the spare and not the heir, that, I don't know, some sort of fate intervened, something absolutely horrendous happened, and Hazan had his brain wiped, something. Or if his dad, Cyrus's dad, had another son with obviously Hazan's mum, and that is how and why. And that would explain why Hazan's mum was gifted the Noster when she was a courtier. Obviously she worked for the throne. So I'm going for a cute little purple today. So I think that they're brothers. There's no way around it. They're brothers. This series has been really like the main characters come into herself. So, you know, I'm going to keep doing it. I fear I will never stop comparing other books to ACOTAR. And I'm sorry for it. I probably should be, but I'm not. So, you know how in the first book, quite a few people actually said that they almost got bored or resented Feyre because she was so like, oh, woe is me. Like, what do you mean you've taken me in and you're going to feed me and you want to love me, but I hate you. And then in book 2, you're like, wow, actually, she's a bad bitch. Well, I feel like this is what's happening with Elise. I feel like it's been a little bit more of a slow process, but nonetheless, she is going to be a bad bitch. She's about to go and get her magic. There was definitely something between her and Cyrus before they've done the blood bond. Obviously, book 3 ends with her like sitting with him after he's obviously been taken back to his rooms and he's all delirious, and obviously it's written in his point of view. He's all delirious and a bit, he thinks it's a dream. One can't differentiate whether or not it's been a dream or it's reality. And then she's like, I need you to wake up, because she needs to know that he knows exactly what they're about to do, which I'm hoping was kind of like what happened in one of his dreams. She wants to be with him, like you can just feel it. But they had this pull and like this, it's described almost like how the mated, like the fated mate bonds are in quite a lot of series, like how there's this unexplainable pull and how she walks into a room and she knows where he is without ever being in this room before. She has no bearings at all as to how the room, the layout is or anything like that, yet she's able to completely walk through with ease and confidence and locate him just because she can feel where he is. Like that wasn't just a passerby comment, that was deliberately, intentionally said throughout book 3 to obviously plant the seed, in my head at least, that she is fated to Cyrus and not to Cameron. I don't know what was going on there though. I did worry through book 2 because I did still want her to be with Cameron, but then Cyrus came into the picture and he was all broody and dark and mysterious and so morally grey after freshly murdering like 13 people, the 12 diviners and the king. Yep, that had me sold, that did. That's got my stamp of approval. This is just Sage and Ryerson all over again, isn't it? It is, it truly is. This is Zade Meadows all over again. Yep, this is a nod to them. I think that I don't want Cyrus to die. I don't want Cyrus to die. I don't want her to end up fated to Cameron. I don't want her to marry Cameron. I don't want her to end up with Cameron at all. Why has she not said to him when he's putting his hand all over her back, which is a very, very obvious display of dominance and like possession, not necessarily in a degrading way, but it's like a, this is my woman, just so you know, don't touch my woman. That's what that is, yeah. In front of Cyrus, and she's not saying anything. Like, she's uncomfortable with it and she doesn't want to lead him on, and she knows that he wants her realistically majority of why he wants her is for his throne, not actually for her. He's got some sort of infatuation with her, and she's still letting him do it. Like, why? But she's running away from Cyrus, obviously, because it's so intense. I get that, I do get that. However, I simply do not want her to be with Cameron. Can't explain it. I guess it is probably just because I prefer a morally grey man. I think he's so, Cyrus, I mean, he's so tortured and he's such a brooding soul, and he's clearly in way over his head. Like, he is literally going through so much mental and physical abuse and trauma, and he still went and done that blood oath with her just so she'd trust him. Like, No, have some blind faith. Have some blind faith. I would have walked straight in. Don't bother doing that. I trust you. I trust you. Okay? You said you killed him for a reason. And then he turned out to have snakes on his shoulders that was eating children's brains. Yes, okay. I believe you. I believe you. You're not a bad person. You're just misunderstood. That's exactly what he is. He's misunderstood. And I will not have him die in the 4th book. Refuse it. Refuse it. We'll scribble it out and rewrite it myself. If that is the case, that's not happening here. No. Okay, this is taking so much longer than I wanted it to. So bear with me just a moment and I'll be right back once I am closer to being done. So I feel like there's been, obviously we know that, I mean, it's not confirmed, but like it kind of is, that Cyrus is, he was reborn. So he's not supposed to be here is what he says. So what did he actually say? He's not meant to live. So he knows that. I don't think this is just from the deal with the devil. I think that he's got some sort of otherworldly, some sort of divine intervention, some sort of fate thing going on here. Okay, but not to be dramatic. If people don't take my side on this, I think I might scream. I don't know if I'm sitting on the wrong side of the fence on this one, because I am firmly Team Cyrus. I'm not going to change my mind. I do not think any of the prophecies or fates are pointing to Elise and Cameron being fated. I think it all points to Elise and Cyrus being fated together. Furthermore, because although Cameron is like, I suppose, enthralled with her, like he's not obsessed, like not in a weird way, he's taken aback by her. I think it's more because like she's opened his eyes to a lot, rather than it is with how Cyrus is affected by her, in that Cyrus is utterly, irrevocably, completely enamored by her and in awe of her. Like he literally worships the ground she walks on. He wants to be with her wholeheartedly. Like he wants nothing more than to actually be married to her, and I'm here for it. I really am. I love that for him. Go you, Cyrus. So I really thought that with this series, because in the description of it, when like I looked it up, because these books were actually gifted to me, it said young adult. It said 12 plus. Now I have actually seen that before on a different series, and 1000% I think that was inaccurate. I would not let a 12-year-old read it. And the same was said, maybe not for the first book of this, but definitely the 3rd book. So I do like a good spicy book more than the actual spicy scenes. I like all the build up. I like the slow burn. I love the enemies to lovers, but I like it when there's finally a release of it. Like we finally get the, oh my god, like the heavens have just opened, we've waited for the rain and the drought kind of moment. Do you know what I mean? Like I love when we finally get the reprieve. Like yes, they've finally given in, we get the full-on fuck it moment. I love that. Live for that moment. And with these books I feel like you didn't get it fully because it's unfinished. Obviously because we're in a bit of a triangle here, but you did kind of get it as well. Like she found a good way to tease it by putting it in Cyrus's dream. Like yes, I want that scene. I want that scene. I feel like, I know it sounds crazy, but how good would it be if all of Cyrus's dreams weren't actually from the devil? They were from some like high entity, something like fate, something, you know? And he'd obviously endured all of the hardship from the devil because of his deal that he made. Like obviously he made the deal, but it was in the interest of other people. Like he didn't actually gain anything personally from it. So because of that, there's been some like literal opposite end of the scale to the devil, some kind of god that has like shined upon him, and he's like, okay, well, I can't stop this deal with the devil, but here you go, I'll give you dreams of an angel, except they're not just dreams, they are what is going to happen. They're literal viewings of the future of how his life's going to go with her. Like, she is going to fall in love with him, like and I feel like this is potentially possible. In the last chapter of the book, obviously he wakes up and he can't understand whether it's a dream or if it's reality, because she is literally repeating stuff that we read as she said it in his earlier dream, when, you know, we had the whole dream scene where it was quite steamy and it was like, okay, she repeats a lot of stuff in the very last chapter of the third book that she said in that chapter. So what if we're getting an ominous little foreshadowing, like this is actually happening, or it's actually gonna happen? We know that he's really powerful because he was obviously studying to be a diviner. We know that he's almost otherworldly, isn't he, really? Like, we know there's a big fat question mark, big old mystery about him, but we do know he is extremely powerful. So what if he's more aware of the bond than she is, because obviously he's been dreaming of her for 8 months, like desperately wanting to meet her but not actually knowing whether or not she was real. If when she gets her power, because we know he has to go with her, obviously, because they've got the blood bond now, like they can't be separate. So what if once she's got her power, that something's revealed, like they get this big, like they get a glowing orb or something come down and whatever, it's all revealed that actually those two are full on fated. And we're going to get Cameron out of the way, I kind of feel like Cameron could end up with Huda. I know they hate each other, but like, enemies to lovers, babe. It's my favourite. It's my favourite. And they've got such an intense hatred, like that would be turning to lovers. Do you not think? Am I not right? If somebody does not comment in the comments to tell me, yes, I agree with your unhinged thoughts on this book series, or even that they've read it, because I keep trying to talk to everybody that I speak to about these books and nobody's read them, and no one seems to understand how much I'm trying to tell them to pick up these books. Please read these books. See, this is the author that wrote the Shatter Me series, which I haven't actually read because I was a bit about reading them because they're a young adult fantasy. But after reading these ones, I'm definitely going to go on to read them, like 100%. Is almost done now. I think we're just about to click. So with that, I will show you them properly when they're finished. But I think that's about it for today with this one. So I'm really excited for the next one to come out. If you haven't read this series, I don't know why you'd still be here, but I highly recommend you go and read it for yourself. If you have read it, please tell me what side of the fence you sit on. Do you sit on Team Cameron or are you on Team Cyrus? I have to know, please. But until then, I guess I'll drink the rest of my cold tea. And I'll see you next week for more Sunday self-care and spicy reads. I will show you my nails quickly. Just a purple little set until next week's stuff gets here. But I will see you next time. Bye.